Hi guys, I'm in with Fiona again, and that's the set we are going to do today. It's not finished yet, so I thought I will show you like a step-by-step way of doing it. Again, it is a salon tutorial and I'm without of the cameraman, but I hope I'm getting better and better at it. So I will start with sanitizing my hands and the client's hands, like just forget the fact that there are some nails which are done. So that will be my first step. And then I would dehydrate the natural nail plate with the blue scrub, and then using 180 grit I will just itch the surface of the natural nail and file the free edge. So I'll just itch the surface of the natural nail, like make sure there is no shine, but also don't overfile the natural nail. Then remove the dust, dehydrate again, just because quite often we clean the dust with the thumb. And then use an extra dehydrator, which is this blue liquid, and wait for it to dry. So on this set of the nails, as you can see, we'll be doing a black baby boomer, and black baby boomer is a pretty difficult and tricky one to do. That's why I thought I will show you how to do it. And we'll be using tips in a coffin shape. So I have to wait for it to dry nice. This one is almost ready. And she got a size 6 on this one, or 5. So let me check. Yep, this one is pretty good. And I just in case check size smaller. And this one is a little bit too small, but personally I tend to go for a smaller tips, and I just put the gel to the corners. Because I think it kind of gives a nicer shape. What else I have done, I will show you with the second tip. I have cut the edges here. This way the tips blend much nicer and is quicker. And I will also show you how to cut it for an almond shape as well, so it's easier. So what I'm doing is I'm applying the glue one side, other side. And you can't spend too much time applying the glue, because otherwise the glue will just dry. And then slide the tip, put it in, hold it, count to 20, 15, 10. This depends how fast you're counting. So I have counted to 10, and then I can realize don't pull your finger up, because that will pull the tip away. And then on this one she will have either 9 or 10. I have went for 9. And what I'm doing is with the tip cutter, I'm just cutting a tiny bit of the corners in here. Then apply the nail glue, one side, other side. And apply it in. So I would apply the tips on all 10 nails. Like every single step I just do on one hand and then on the other hand straight away. Like in a school, when I start doing the nails, they teach me to take all those tips out, put them on the table, and then, oh my goodness, it was taking just so much time. So I definitely don't practice that in a salon. So I would apply it on the other hand as well. And normally I wait for tips to set a little bit, so by the time I apply the last one, this one will be ready to set. But I hope it's dry enough. So for a coffin shape I would just cut it here. For an almond shape I want to cut it a little bit at the angle. So this way I've got a little bit less filing. And I will do it on the other nail as well. So one side, other side. So this way I don't have to file as much. Then tidy up the glue and other bits and pieces. And now we are going to shape the nail. So I would start with the side walls, like I want them to be nice and straight. And then the other side. You can also see I'm kind of holding the tip all the time to secure it. And I always file the free edge first. So I'm shaping, I'm not bothered to perfect the shape like 100%, because we will have to file it after the gel application as well. But I'm kind of shaping it the way I want. I check the length, so it is still too long. And then keep filing the free edge. Once the free edge is filed, I can etch the surface of the tip all over. So I'm just itching the surface of the tip all over, and now I'll start blending. So I will start from the one side, one touch, other touch, and I'm trying to touch it a millimeter below the line so I don't overfile the natural nail. So we are going to do it exactly the same, one side, other side. Say shape the free edge. Then check the length. Itch the surface of the natural nail, of the tip, and then blend the difference. Sorry, I'm listening also what is going on in the salon as well. And this way I have blended the difference on the tip. I can remove the dust and then dehydrate the nail plate again, just because if I touch it with the finger there might be some oils on it. But I don't apply the blue scrub on the tip because you don't want that. So only on the natural nail. Then universal air bond, again just on the natural nail. And then we are going to use the gel. So when doing a new set of the nails, I will use two layers. A first layer, just a nice and thin layer, and then the second layer to build up the structure and the apex. So I'm just picking up on the one side of my brush some product in, and I'm going to apply it like a nail polish. So I'm just applying it like a nail polish, and make sure you kind of cap the free edge properly. Like a nail polish. And make sure you cap the free edge. And then this hand goes inside the lamp, so it needs to cure. And to save the time and to don't do the cuts on the camera, I'm just going to go straight into the next part of this nail. So on this ones we have finished and we have done the baby boomer, so here will be a design, and on this one we will do like a sugar design. And to create this sugar design I have put a tiny bit of the paint on French gel and also a tiny bit of the black foil design gel, and I will be using my micro styler brush just to paint this design. So I will be starting with the black, and the design goes in here, so black, and we will go for like an swirly beads. Okay, so I've got one swirly bead. And now I'm just going to paint another one. So when I'm doing a client's nail, I kind of do it something all the time. It's not the way I sit and wait for the product to cure or something. So this previous hand has cured, so I will swap the hands. And then apply this gel. So again, we are going for a really nice and thin layer all over. So nice and thin layer. Each time I'm just lifting my bum to check if anything is visible in the camera, and then I apply another layer and then pick up a large scoop of the product on the one side of my brush, so pretty decent. And I'm start building my apex. So for the apex I'm going to twist the nails on the side a little bit, and then it's best if the nail goes down the way, so the gravity helps you do the job. It's quite warm in here, so I should speed up and work pretty quick, otherwise the gel is going to run. So down the way so it doesn't run to the cuticle. And same in here. One side, other side, one side, other side, one side, other side. Clean the brush, do the touch up, check the apex, and that's my nails finish change. And depends on the temperatures, you would either use one or you would either do 1-2 nails in the winter months, like when it's quite cold, but we've got a really nice and sunny day and I feel it is pretty warm. I wouldn't do any more than 2, maybe 3 nails at the one time before curing. And then we have created a black in here, so the next color is going to be gray. So what I'm doing is, to my black I'm adding a drop of white to create a gray. And then what I will do is I will just go around it. Just to make the design more interesting. So just around it with the small brush.
We'll see. I'll need to wait and see near the time.
Say it again.
I'll need to wait till near the time.
Yes.
Don't think we'll be able to end that.
Yeah.
So I'm filling up this place.
3 people in UK. Yep.
I think, well, it might be more. 15 I thought it was.
And then just go around
I
it.
think radio said 3 people. Turkey, Italy.
You can also see I'm changing the position of the brush. I'm also changing the client hand position as well, just so it's comfier to paint. And again, the more time we would spend on any kind of design, the prettier it is going to look. But for sugar, you don't need to be as like crazy precise with the lines, because the glitter is going to change it a little bit. So the next step I'm going to do is adding a little bit more white into my gray to create even a lighter gray.
No, different.
Always different?
Sometimes go back.
And then I would just go around it. And also, to make the life easier for yourself, you better cure this part. So after doing each color you would cure it, and then there is no risk you are going to like touch or smudge the parts which are uncure. And that's what I'm going to do it, so swap your hands. I've got the sunshine on the back of my drawer, so that's where I would normally place. So these nails are cured, and I'm going to remove the inhibition layer. And I'm using UV cleanser for that, so I have just removed the inhibition layer, and now we can just shape the nails. I ran out of the nail wipes and Agnia just putting them up for me, thank you for that. So that's a lint-free wipes, and they're best for nail enhancement. So when I'm filing the shape of the nail, I'm starting at the sides, and then I would file around the cuticle area to blend everything nice. And the better you apply your product, the less filing you are going to have. And then I can just smooth it out. So that's my filing done on this nail. Some of you also count me a time, like as well, like when I'm doing the tutorial. I think with talking is a slightly different, it takes much longer time as well. And checking the camera's views and all. As you can also see, we've got new options on the channel as well, which is a join button, and that's some different membership plans. And there is a one where you've got the access to the monthly trainings, and after completing this training you can receive a beautiful signed certificate So what you do is you basically complete the training and you then drop me a pictures. During the training you can just ask me questions as well, and then I can send you a beautiful certificate. So after I have filed the nails, I'm going to check the client view as well, because each time the client view is completely different to our view. And then I know I need to file a little bit more on this place here. Also, you compare the length as well. The same, like you want them all these 3 nails, you want kind of the same length. Then the pink is always a little bit shorter, and in Fiona's case she's got slightly shorter thumbs, the nail beds, and I wouldn't apply the extensions the same length like on the other nails, because it would cause too much pressure on her nails. And we actually removed her nails today after how many years you getting extensions?
Years now.
Years, like
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know, what, 6, 7?
7 years,
7
yeah.
years? So yeah, Fiona is getting like her nails done for the last 7 years, and it is the first time when she had them off, because constantly was doing just a rebalance, and her condition of the natural nails is kind of pretty impressive after wearing the extensions for so many years. Her nail beds have grown so much better, and they look really decent. Now I'm just going to take a buffer and quickly buff this nail. Just to make sure it's nice and smooth. And then other one. You can also see I'm protecting her fingers from any kind of cuts. And I didn't do cuticle work, as you could see it. So basically I'm only pushing back the cuticles, and then I do most of the cuticle work after I have finished the filing. Just so I can file without like taking a risk of cutting the client. Also I use the tape to protect my fingers, because usually we get, as a nail technicians, you can see what's happened with this tape, and that's what would happen with my finger. And then using the e-file, I'm just going gently to file her cuticles, one side, other side. I never do like too excessive work on the cuticle, so just a tiny bit, whatever is really needed.
No, that's fine. Next is probably after you.
Next time you need to pay the holiday. How long do you have to wait?
Gdzie położę sprawdziłam your nail?
What is that?
So if I use or at 1,
Is it a...
or at 10 or at 1.
This baby?
10. Okay, your name?
And then using my cuticle nippers, just the most sticking out parts. You kind of want to secure it in your finger, and then you know where you can.
Yes.
Summer.
And this part as well.
Because it was bad weather, so people
Stayed in. Through the entertainment.
Fiona is promising me now that she's going to use the cuticle oil. Are you?
yeah.
Yeah. We'll check that on her next appointment. So I'm cleaning the nails with the blue scrub, and I'm still going to do this design before we go into the baby boomer. So I've got this piece of foil there, and we're going into the black and here. So this time I'm going to draw a different pattern, which is going to be like a teardrop, twisted teardrop.
Good afternoon, Ibiza. Yes.
So that's the pattern.
your baby?
August.
And then I can cure it. Then here we are already on the lighter gray.
So then probably then she will do all extensions to get them all the same, and that for the extension.
on
for
holiday?
the week. So is that okay? The same pattern, yes? Yes. Thank you.
The second one, the test showed for me
Hi.
that it's unrepeatable.
Right.
I was like, okay. And then I felt sick.
I will also show you what to do so the sugar lasts good.
So I did it again. It's the positive. The person I did
And
normally.
when doing a sugar to the clients, what we have find out, like they are different types of sugar. So the sugar can be any kind of very fine glitter which has color in it, and that's the ones which not always necessarily last best. You're better off using like a more like a mermaid powder, because this way it is more see-through and it tends to last better. The ones I'm using are from the Indigo, and it's a really great brand for the mermaid powders. Change. So here I'm going for a gray now, so I'm just mixing my black.
Do you want it more?
No, that's fine.
I thought you like that and make it thicker. Because I think
And I just go around
Okay.
it.
That's fine.
It is slightly different design, so I show you. I thought I will show you that. Then also to save the time, because the baby boomer is going to take ages, I will show you how to do that. So we can change the hands. And here I've got just white to do plus the design, so I'm just not going to do it now, and I'm going to move into the baby boomer. I've got some sponges, and that's what I'm going to use for the baby boomer, and the foil design gel, which is a black gel from the Nail Perfect. So change your hands. Yep. And I'm applying a tiny bit at the end of it, so exactly the same like we would do the white, but with this difference, like this sponge is hardly any product on it, and that's the sponge I'm going to use first. I'm pushing down the folds of the nails, and you can see there is almost no product. Like there is almost no product. It almost looks like it looks pointless of doing it, but this way you will get the nicest fade. If you want the black to look nice as a baby boomer, that's the way you would do it. So hardly any product on it and the first layer, and you brush it down, and then on the second one you can kind of more dab it in, so you've got more product on. Now before I'm curing, I'm just going to blend it a little bit more, and that would be enough for now. So this is not a nice baby boomer yet, and I need about 3 layers to do a decent black baby boomer. Change your hands. So once my baby boomer is curing, I can keep finishing this design. So I'm using the white here now. I've got my cuticle pusher to push this cuticle down the way. So I also got Dagnia actually standing here, and I might ask her, can you see if I would get away from the camera? Can you just slap me? Okay. She says, okay, happy to slap me. Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Actually, I'm really tired as well, because like you obviously have seen some of the pictures from the photo shoot as well, because Patrick is doing those photography hire, the cameraman, and it's so crazy. Like he stayed up till 4 in the morning yesterday. We was taking some pictures as well. It turned out pretty nice as well. I might post in the community tab again.
Down better.
Down? Oh, thank you. See, she's a good one, because at least now I've got someone controlling if I'm in the focus. So that's this nail finish with the design, but we want to achieve this look. So change your hands. And the baby boomer is cooked, which is awesome. So I'm just applying another layer of this black. And then dab it in with the sponge.
Happy?
It actually looks pretty decent already. I might do the third layer, why not? And then on this one, we going with the lighter gray. So to my black, I'm adding lots of white.
Hello.
Hi.
How can I help you?
I've got an appointment at 1:45 for my eyebrows. Yeah, it's more than.
And
Okay.
on the top as well.
I will be ready in time.
That's okay, don't worry.
You're ready.
Just go around it. Also, a good tip for you guys, if you're doing a baby boomer and you're using the sponges, it's good to have a tiny bit of the tape on the side. If there is any bits and pieces of the dust, you just kind of like clear it with the tape, and then it's much easier to do the baby boomer. And then I'm doing it here. Thanks. See, painting for a camera is pretty awkward as well, like, because I've got camera almost right on my eye, and I sometimes touch it with my head. Some of you asked me to do the tutorial. I was painting some reindeer and a winter wonderland, like, but I don't think so I will be able to paint it on the front of the camera because the positions are really, really awkward. And like when I'm painting, like I usually even ask my clients, can you stop breathing? I change the hands. So this one is cooked and I can show you the sugar. So I'm going to use the No Wipe Top Gel, the one from the Upvoted. It's a really nice high shine top coat. And I'm just applying it on the entire nail. So all over. And then we are going to sprinkle with the Mermaid Effect from Indigo. So that's the one I'm going to use it. And the easiest way for me to do it in the salon is just like I hold it. And then I just go like this. Maybe not as much. And then remove the excess of it. Change the hands. And then I can put the rest in the pot again. And here we are into the white. So basically what I'm going to do is I will just concentrate on the places where the white meets gray. And then the rest I will just fill up with the white. So here I want to knit my line, make it neater. Quite often I even tend to turn the client's hand upside down if I want to get some angles, and I paint from this angle because it's easier. So just to fill that up. Tagnia is checking if I'm still in the camera. And I'm actually doing this video because lots of you said that you guys really like the last tutorial which we have done with Fiona. And even there was some places where I shake the camera or some places where I have disappeared from the view, and I felt like I'm going to try to improve the quality of those tutorials from the salon. And Patrick even like organized me a desk like, and he put it upstairs in the room, so I've got a setup done upstairs, but there is no products yet in there, and we just downstairs. So nice and neat around the cuticle area, and then here at the fridge. Okay, so change the hands. So this one, I like the sugar to cook really well for a long time, like double cure. So I'm just going to leave it, and we are going to do another sugar in here. So the same brush with the black. We actually almost finished. Just have to apply the top coat on the baby boomer, and then do this swirly design in here. So I'm just checking. Yeah, camera view, good. So I'm preparing my brush, and I'm just going to do a couple of the swirls. I'm kind of working like one side, other side, because this is pretty quick for a salon work. Then if I have placed something here, I quite like to, for a balance, go on the bottom as well. You can't see it because there is black already there. So we're painting black on top of black. But once we sprinkle the sugar, it will look really nice. And the last swirly bits here. So the swirls are done, and you can see it, they're really quick and quite effective for a salon work. And then I'm just sprinkle with the glitter. Could you twist it a bit? Perfect. Remove the excess of it. It looks a bit messy, but we have to clean it. So change the hands. And then on this we have to apply the top coat. So I would apply the top coat on the baby boomer. Top coat on the baby boomer, and the top coat on this one, because we want to do the sugar. If you're painting something which later on is covered with the sugar, you don't need to be as 100% precise, because the sugar is going to hide it. So I'm never losing too much time. And before we cure it, we have to sprinkle. Remove the excess of the glitter, and I had to do it something on those baby boomer nails as well, just to join and connect everything all together. Swap your hands. So this hand is cured, and I show you what to do with the sugar. I'm taking a nail file, and I'm just filing the edges of the nail to make sure, first of all, that they are not catchy, not scratchy, because if there are some catchy bits and pieces which the client will catch, it might pull more glitter than you want. But if they smoother is better. And then I take my brush to clean any dust, and that's the design, how it's like, how the sugary bits looks in there. And then this one as well, and I show you the nail dehydrator. So that's the stuff which contains acetone in there and everything. I'm just going to take a little bit of that on the brush, on the wipe, and I'm going to go and clean it, and you can see it's not going to come off. So the clients are safe to wash the hands, and nothing is going to come off. It does feel rough maybe for the first day or two, but then you kind of get smooth out a little bit. And you can see this design, I really love it, how it looks and how it connects everything on this finger. So I have to clean all the dust, apply the cuticle oil, and I will show you the final look. And that's the final look. So they look absolutely fantastic. Like, look at those glitters, and sugar looks so beautiful too. Thanks guys for watching. If you're new in here, hit the subscribe button. I hope you have really enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know in the comments down below. Bye!